Hello dear students, this is Ankita, teaching as an assistant professor in Department of Computer Science and Engineering and Bachelors of Computer Application at St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management, Gurugram. I welcome all of you to the online lecture series of Object-Oriented Programming, and this is the video number 11 for CSE students and the video number 10 for the BCA students. So in previous video for CSE students we studied various type conversion techniques. So I have briefed those techniques with the help of this table which I have taken from the book Bala Guruswamy. Type to class type conversion and class type to basic type conversion and class type to class type conversion. So conversion takes place with these mechanisms, and they have the separate code for source class as well as destination class. In case of base data type to class data type, there is no source class, there is destination class, because we are converting base into class. So destination is the class. So in destination class we have to define one constructor with one parameter which is known as conversion constructor also. And in case of class type to basic type conversion, we have one source class here but no destination class. That's why it is written no applicable here, not applicable. And in the source class we will be writing one casting operator. This casting operator will be overloaded for data type in which we want to convert our object or class type. And the third one is class type to class type conversion. So we have source as well as destination class also. So in source class we will write the casting operator or any operator overloading, but in destination class we have to write the conversion constructor. Okay, so this topic was included in CSE syllabus. We will move further in this video. The first topic of unit 4th is exception handling, and which is common in both CSE and BCA classes. What are exceptions? Exceptions, you can say, these are the errors or kind of bugs which are arised while writing the program or when we are executing that program. So at a broad level, errors are of two types: compile time and and runtime errors. So compile time errors are that we forgot to import any class, or we forgot to call the library reference, or we have wrongly mentioned the library name. Such errors are known as compile time polymorphism. And runtime polymorphism are those errors or those circumstances, those situations which arise at the runtime or when we are executing the program. So these two type of errors further, they belong to the compile time errors. So logic errors are those errors which occurs due to poor understanding of the problem and its solution, and syntactic errors occur due to poor understanding of the syntax of language, means how we should write a proper syntax in the language. So such problems or errors when occur in the programming, they are known as exceptions. So these exceptions are, if we go with the definition, so these are the runtime anomalies or the unusual conditions that a program may encounter while execution. An exception is an exceptional circumstance that arise while a program is running, and these exceptions diverse the program execution also towards crashing. For example, if we want to perform divide by 0, if we unintentionally doing divide by 0, that will execute successfully, but that will produce runtime errors also. Your program may get crash also. So such examples of exceptions may be the array outside of its bound. If you have specified the smaller size of the array, but you are trying to access the index location which is not present in that array, so that is the array outside of its bound. Division by 0, running out of memory. So such type of situations are known as exceptions. When any system encounters such type of exceptions, it has to deal with such exceptions effectively. So if we talk about in terms of system, there are two types of exceptions: synchronous exceptions and asynchronous exceptions. Synchronous exceptions says that errors like out of range index and the overflow exceptions, which occurs in a kind of sequence. They are known as synchronous exceptions, and asynchronous exceptions are the errors caused by any event, either by pressing any key which is beyond the control of the program. They are known as asynchronous exceptions. So what is traditional error handling? I will discuss it with the help of one example. The example is returning error values. So if any function which is returning a predefined error constant from itself on an error condition, like for example C memory management functions malloc that returns null for out of memory, and the C file input output function fopens that returns null for the unsuccessful open. However, users may not check for the error condition beforehand, either because they forget, or they sometimes forget while writing the program, or because they don't even know that they need to do so. Or so for example, consider printf function that returns number of arguments successfully, which is printed inside its braces. And however, you will probably never encounter code that does anything with the return value of the printf. Okay, so we have never seen that what is the return value of the printf, how the return value goes to the compiler. So addition to it, choosing a predefined error value is not always possible for a normal user at least. So this is the basic example of traditional error handling. Either user sometimes ignores the code for the error handling, or they do not know how to write the code for error handling. So there are some advantages of exception handling also over traditional error handling. So first one is separation of the error handling code from the normal code. So first of all, if we are writing any code for error handling, we have to separate that code from the normal code. So in traditional error handling, there are always if and else conditions to handle the various errors, and these conditions and the code to handle errors get mixed up with the normal flow. So this makes the code less reliable and maintainable also. So if any known user is having a look on that program, he or she may not distinguish between the code which is written for handling the errors, or which is written as a normal code. So with try, catch, blocks statements, the code for the error handling becomes separate from the normal flow. So we can recognize that this particular code is handling the error problems or exceptions, and which is written separately from the normal code. Second advantage is functions and methods. They can handle exceptions. They choose the exceptions from their own, and they choose the solution for those exceptions also. So second is the functions and the methods can handle exceptions. They choose. The function can throw many exceptions but may choose to handle some of them, and the other exceptions which are thrown but not caught can be handled by the caller. So third type of advantage is grouping of errors. We can also make group of error types. In C++, both basic types and objects can be thrown as exceptions. We can create a hierarchy of exception objects, group exceptions in the namespaces or the classes, as we do in the normal programming. So we can create the exception objects also. We can group exceptions in classes or namespaces, then categorize them according to their types. Okay, so these three are the advantages of the exception handling over traditional error handling. The purpose of exception handling mechanism is to provide the means to detect and report an exceptional circumstances, so that appropriate action can be taken. So C++ does this with the help of these three keywords: throw, catch, and try. Throw throws an exception when a problem shows up, and this is done using the throw keyword. And catch block says that if any program catches an exception with an exception handler at the place in a program where you want to handle the problem, the catch keyword indicates the catching of an exception. Try block identifies the block of the code for which particular exceptions will be activated, and it is followed by one or more catch blocks. So all in all, we will be looking these steps, how these three keywords are working here. So first of all, we have to find the problem, that means hit the exception, so which is done with the help of try block. And try block also informs the system about the error has occurred with the help of throw the exception, with the help of throw block. Then third step is receive the error information, which is known as catch the exception, and take the corrective actions. Fourth step is the handle the exception. So these four are the steps which are done by these three keywords. The error handling code that consists of two segments. First segment says that to detect errors and throw the exception. So these two segments or these two steps you can include in one segment. So this is the error handling code, and to catch the exceptions and take the appropriate action. So these are the next two steps of the or segment of the error handling mechanism. So this is the diagram, pictorial view of how the try and catch block works. This is the try block which detects the exception and throw the exception towards the catch. So the exception object goes to the catch block where the error handling or the exception handling actions are taken here. So this diagram is taken from the E. Balaguruswamy. This unit of exception handling is very nicely defined in that book. So the exception handling mechanism, what I just said, that try blocks detects and throws the exception, then it goes to the catch block in the form of the exception object, and the catches takes the appropriate actions to handle that exception. They are written in this mechanism. So first of all, that block with the try keyword is used to preface the block of statements which may generate exceptions. So try will have such situation that may generate the exceptions, or if you know in advance that this particular code can produce exception, so you can write that code inside the try block. So the second step is when an exception is detected, it is thrown using a throw statement in the try block. And the third one is a catch block defined by the catch keyword, catches the exception thrown by throw statement in the try block and handles it appropriately. What I said about this figure I have written here in these steps. So next comes the syntax of try and catch. So try block starts with its curly braces, and this contains the throw statements where this protected code is written. Then after this code, catch exception name is mentioned. So these are the exception object, you can say. So any try block can have multiple catches also. So this is the example of having multiple catches. So E1, E2, up to En. So as many catch statements a try block can have. So we will see each of these blocks or keywords separately. The code which can throw any exception is kept inside the try block, and I will just and then when the code will lead to any error, that error or exception will get caught inside the catch block. The second section is throwing the exception. It is used to throw the exceptions to exception handler, that is used to communicate information about the errors. And a throw exception basically accepts one parameter, and that parameter is passed to the handler in the form of object or variable or namespace or class. The exceptions can be thrown anywhere within a code block using a throw statement. The operand of the throw statement determines the type of the exception, that and can be any expression also, and the type of result of the expression that determines the type of exception thrown. So we will look at this with the help of examples also. So I will consider only the divide by zero exception here for the first video of this unit. So you can consider the example of this particular code. Here I have taken one division function which is having two parameters a and b, and if b is equal to 0, see what we are doing, we are checking. So if this particular function can produce any error, so we are checking that with the help of this if block. It will check if b is equal to 0, then throw the message that division by 0 condition. Here you can include any object also or any variable name also, but we have written here the statement. So if this value is true, it will throw an exception which will be handed over to the catch blocks inside, or catch block contains the code to handle this particular situation. So how we can rectify the problem of division by 0? By changing this particular argument or parameter, we have to change its value. This function or this try, catch and block, try, throw and catch block will notify the user programmer that the b is equal to 0, and we cannot, or your program may result abnormally in this situation, so you have to change the value of b. So third step is, this is the return. After this particular throw statement, it will return the result, but it will notify also on the same end. Catching expression or catching exception says that the catch block is intended to catch the error and handle the exception condition. We can have multiple catch blocks to handle the different type of exception, as we saw in the syntax also, and perform different actions when the exceptions occur. For example, we can display descriptive messages also to explain why any particular exception occurred. This catch block followed by the try block catches an exception. You can specify what type of exception you want to catch, and this is determined by the exception declaration that appears in the parenthesis followed by the keyword catch. So this is the try block. Catch block is always written after the try block. So catch block will be having the object name or any expression. Come to this example, we will understand how these three blocks are working. So this is the function. I have taken the example of division by 0. This is the function. We can use if try catch block with the help of user defined function as well as in the main function itself. So this is the example of having user defined function. So I have made a separate function to divide the two number and with the name of division. So same code I have written. If b is equal to 0, then it will just throw attempted to divide by 0 and it will return. Okay, so next what will happen? Next main function starts, and in main function we have taken two variable with name m and n. For m I have taken 42 value and n is the having value 0. Then p is the variable which will store the division or result of the division. So this is the try block in main function. Obviously you want to check whether there is any exception or not. You will write the you will write the try block inside the main function. So this is the runtime problem, or this is, or any error which is an exception, that is a runtime problem. Then you will write the try block inside the main function. So what this try block will be doing, in this block we have called the function division, which will go to here, and it will check if b is equal to 0. Yes, b is equal to 0, the condition is true, that then it will throw an exception attempted to divide by 0, and it will display p, and it will from here, from this throw statement, the control will jump onto the catch, where a constant variable is defined with the character type, and this will print the msg message. This is the variable name. So what is happening here? This is the object. First of all, like cout and scene, this is the object of the OStream class, which represents the standard error, or you can say to define or to notify the system about an error, we call this object particularly. So in exception handling, basically we have used this CERR object. So because we are raising an exception of type const catch, so this catch is raising an exception of character type. So we have taken this character of constant. So we have to use the constant char in the catch block only. Because of what reason? That like I said, that throw will throw an exception, and it is throwing this particular statement, and this particular statement is of is a message basically. So is of character type, and this catch will catch this particular expression only. So that's why here the character type will be taken to store the message coming from the throws. So that's why it has to be a character type, because whatever throw is giving to the catch block, catch block should mention or should have the exception name of the same type. So this is the output of this particular program. And if we want to write the same program without using user defined functions, then in main function we have to take two variables a and b. Then this is just a message that try block will reside inside the main function, which activates exception handling. So if b is equal to 0, then it shows that it is throwing custom expression. Then we have to add the expression with the throw block. Divide by 0 is not possible. Then the main code will take place in the main only. Then coming to the catch section, it will be outside of the try block. Okay, so all try, throw, catch, they will be written in main function if we are not using any user defined function. So in catch section we have taken again, because the throw is throwing the expression of a character type, it will have character value or character type of variable. So it catches the exception and it just display the ex, and the ex says that division by 0 is not possible. What this ex contains? This particular message. So it will just print the value of ex. Because the throw was having this expression, whether it is of character type or integer type, it will given to the catch block. That catch block will save that in any variable of the same type, whether it is integer or character or float. Then it will display the issue. So then it will display the exception also. So to handle the exceptions, the first task is to notify the programmer about the exception occurrence. Okay, so the try catch block does the same thing to notify the programmer that exception is likely to happen or exception has happened. So in that case we have to take proactive actions, like if we get this particular message, on the second run we will just change this particular value with some value more than 0. So in that case your program will run smoothly without any exception. So this was the one catch block here only. Though we may have multiple exceptions in our program, then we can have multiple catches also. So consider this example. This is the array, and in this array you have the size of 3, and but we have taken here two indexes, 0 and 1. That 0 is having -1 and this is 2. So when we are traversing the values, I have stored this value into ex. So ex is any variable in which this value on this particular ith index or i+1 index, that will be given to ex. So try catch will check that if ex is equal to 0, so all values should be positive, so it will check the value of ex is greater than 0, then it will throw the numeric exception. If it is not more than 0, it will throw a character exception. So in both the cases we can have multiple throw or multiple catches inside our main program, but there will be only one try block. Try block further can have try blocks and then catch and try. You can say nested try catch block can be there. So but within a try block there can be multiple throw statements. So here, as you can see in this particular program, this is the catch to handle the exception for the numeric or the integer type ex, and this is the catch, again another block to handle the character type ex statement. So we have seen that we can have one catch in our program also, or we can have multiple catches. So this was the array, and the values entered was -1 and +2. So if the value is greater than 0, it will throw the numeric, or it will display the value as it is, or if it has the value less than 0, then it will show the character value of this particular program. I am not writing the output here, but you have to run this program and then see the output at your own through some online editor also. Okay, so you have to mention the output here in this particular section. Okay, so how to write the generalized catch block? Generalized catch block catches all type of exceptions. Like you can write one type of one block for the catch, and it will handle all type of exceptions. Like consider the same example. Here I have taken the array x3 of having 3 index, -1 and 2 is there. So loop is there again, and it will be assigning value of x0 to ex on the first run. Then it will enter try block. It will see whether the value of ex is greater than 0. Then it will throw ex, and else it will throw ex. So here this is for the character type, and this is for the integer type. So generalized catch block is always written with this syntax. So catch keyword will be there, and in the parenthesis you have to write the 3 dots. It will show the special exception. So in both the cases it will display you the special exception. So whatever output will be there for the first type, it will display the special exception output, and for the second block also it will display the special exception. So both the exceptions, they are being catched by the single catch block, and we have even written the separate catch block also to handle integer and character separately. And in above program we saw that if the value of integer is an array x that is less than 0, we are throwing a numeric value as exception, and if the value is greater than 0, then we are throwing the character value as exception. And we have two different catch blocks for those of the exceptions. And in this specialized or generic or generalized catch block, we have written catch block only once. So next are the some standard exceptions in the C++, so which are responsible to handle different type of exceptions may faced during any logic error, or any out of range, any length error, or any runtime error. And in runtime error also there is range error, overflow, or underflow. So runtime error happens during the runtime. These are of 3 types: range error, exceptions due to range error is the internal computation, and overflow due to the arithmetic overflows, and underflow, exception due to arithmetic underflow errors. So bad allocation happens when memory allocation with new fails, and bad cast when dynamic cast fails. And the exception happens with the dynamic cast fails, and bad exception is specially designed to be listed in the dynamic exception specifier. And these are the thrown by the type ID. We will see type ID in the coming videos also. So this is the standard parent class for all type of C++ exceptions. And logic error has the exception in the internal logic of the program. So domain error says it happens if exception happens due to use of invalid domain. Invalid argument happens any exception if it happens due to invalid arguments. Then out of range, again the exception due to out of range, that is size requirement exceeds the allocation, and the length error when exception occurs due to length error. So this was the video for exception handling. I have included the basic definitions and basic structure of your exception handling program when we write in any C++ program. So we will follow the next videos with upcoming topics. So we will discuss next topic in upcoming videos. Thank you so much. Take care.